So now I have my mixer ready, have select all the inputs and outputs I need, but now I need to know how to patch properly because I have an state box. I also have inputs and outputs back on the mixer, and I would like to know how to assign all these inputs and outputs
Okay, yeah,
to
it's
my channel.
one of the very first things you need to do once you start a show is do the patchbay, do a proper patchbay. So, graphic EQ, FX section, patchbay. These three things are very important. So it's very quick access to the patchbay. So now, every input channel can have up to 3 preamps. First preamp is what we call the main or the input. So probably will be the ones we're going to use today on the stage. The second one is a backup input. So you have a wireless microphone, a RF microphone, and you want to have a spare somewhere. You don't need to have 2 channels for that. You have the same channel, and what you do is change the preamp. Many problems we have with that is that if you don't remember to copy and paste everything you do, then when you need to use the backup microphone, you're lost because it's completely not up to date. So what we do is you use the same channel and you change the preamp. That's what we offer a second preamp called alternative preamp. And the third one is to choose what's going to be for your virtual sound check. So which feeds are going to feed your channels when you are going to do a virtual sound check. So let's start now to do the simple patch bay of the I/O boxes of the inputs and outputs you have on the stage. So to do a patch bay, you have the first channel here. Okay, so the first column is the main preamp, the second column is the backup, and the third one is the virtual soundcheck one. So let's just start with the first one. I choose the first channel, and this opens this screen. This screen, you have to read it in 3 different parts. First part is category. So you choose here, and it opens a variety of category. A and B, it's React A and React B. And look, it already says to us you have an S4000S equipped with 32 inputs and 8 outputs.
Cool.
React B is empty, we don't have anything. C is local, so it's the inputs and outputs you have on the back panel. You have a Dante card, so D is Dante.
Yeah.
You have E1, E2, this React 1 and 2, because you have a React XI React, which is an expansion slot to get more Reacts. We are not using now. You have the FX section, the USB. The USB means the 2.016 inputs you have, and dock. Dock is for the iPad. So if you want to play music from the iPad or your iTunes or your Spotify, you don't need a mini jack for it. You just can get out from the dock and to a channel without any using any analog out. It just goes through the dock output. So the first thing we need to patch is the React A, which is the S4000S we have on the stage. So we choose category React A. Second part of this screen, sequence. How many channels you want to patch? So you have a 3208, so let's patch the 32 inputs straight. So I go to sequence assign, I open this dialog, I choose 32 inputs, okay, and it turns in orange.
Yes.
To tell you, remember what you're doing is going to be multiplied, or is going to be a sequence of 32. And now I just have to choose the first preamp. So we are working on channel 1, let's choose preamp number 1 there. This is React A, this is 32 channels, so I choose the first one, and look, it already makes up to 32 channels on the React A. So it's already done. You do one channel, you set the sequence for that, and all the patch bay is done. Okay, so let's imagine that we are going to have a virtual sound check, and you're going to feed the channels from the computer using the USB 2.0 back to the console, because you have already a session record on the Logic or whatever. You're going to use that to do a virtual sound check. So for that, we're going to choose the third column. So the first one is on the stage, the second one is for the backup microphones, the third one is the one we have dedicated for the virtual sound check. So again, we choose the first channel, okay, the box inside of the third column, and it's the same window that we have to read in 3 parts. First part, category. Instead of React A, which was the one we chose before, now we're going to choose USB as a category of the feeds we need to patch. And on a sequence, instead of 32, the USB maximum capacity is 16 channels. So we have to choose 16 as a maximum for the USB. And then again, I choose the first preamp, well, not preamp, the feed, and it gets straight up to 16 feeds from the computer using the USB. So now, which preamp I am using? Okay, right now, if you see this purple background, this means the preamps you are using. So if I want to change the preamps, I'm not going to use the stage, I want to use the computer now, what I do is press swap input, and it's blinking, and now, touching on the column, on the top of the column, it changes the channels active now are the coming from the virtual soundcheck.
Yeah.
But sometimes you have all the band on the stage and probably the drummer didn't arrive yet or still doing the setup on the riser. Okay, so you can do one by one. Okay, I need the drummer, channels 1 to 8, let's say, from the USB, but the rest of the band is on the stage already. So you can do one by one
And select what.
which channel you wanna be active, which preamp you wanna have active on each channel. Okay.
And you can see it also in the channel strip that the input
Yeah.
has changed.
Yeah, on the channel
So-
strip you get information about the channel number, about the name of the channel, the background of the color you can change, and you know the Patchbay, who is the preamp is active on that channel. So on the scribble strip you get a lot of information
Yeah.
also. So if you want to go back to all the channels to the stage, I just stop here, and all the purple ones goes to the first 32 channels. So I just turn this off. I'm ready to go.
Done. Now I would like to know how to rearrange channels and also how to copy maybe channels, because you know festival that you have bands all the time, you need to have some flexibility on
Yeah.
the channel list.
That's something we fixed very well on the M5000 because to be honest, pissed me off a lot when I got into the festival doing a band, and the guy is doing babysitting to me and says, "Okay, these two channels are not for you because it's that your band just has one rack tom and 2 and 3 are off. So these two channels leave it mute, and that's it." I hate that because normally the bands I do are 23, 24 channels around. So this means I need to get to another layer and so on, just because the guy has two channels there
Yeah.
for me. So for that, inside the Patchbay, there is a range channel screen that opens this window where you can manage all that. Okay, let's say that channels 7 and 8, we are not going to use it with this band. So I choose channel 7 and 8, and what I want to do is move them. So you press move. And now the mixer, the window is waiting for you to tell, okay, tell me the destination. Okay, if we are not going to use them, we can put it at the end.
Yeah.
So I choose the very bottom of the screen. Are you sure you want to move them? Yes, please move them. And it's waiting to you to say apply, because if you want to do many changes or anything, you just, okay, do everything, and once you're done, press apply, and we're going to do all the changes. So I press apply, and these two channels, the mixer grabs it, do a kind of a scroll, and drop them
There
at
it is, okay.
at the very bottom of your layout of faders. So you get again these rearrange in a way that you can have it on the way you want or in the way it comes in the rider. Sometimes you get a rider where, I don't know, the drums are at the end and that's a mess for you suddenly. Okay, it's not anymore a huge problem. You have the range channel screen and you can play around that. Okay.
Really easy, actually.
Good.